Oh, friend, I am so excited to tell you that I am getting rid of the big elephant in the room, the bookshelf. So I have been trying to, or wanting to get rid of this bookshelf for a while. And I made a video a couple of years ago about how I was like sort of decorating it because I knew I wanted to get rid of it. Now, before we get into the makeover, which is going to be amazing, let me just tell you why I am. And maybe there's something in your house you want to get rid of as well. And that this might help you decide how to go about that. So first off, this bookshelf is really, really big, and it just takes up this whole wall, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I always did like built-ins. This is not built-in. This is from IKEA, and it has served us well. We've had it for well over 10 years. It used to be in a different room in our house. And I like that I can keep the Lego. My husband, all his Volkswagen Lego, he loves it. We got him like that, which is Volkswagen-y. I like that. The problem though is it feels like a lot. It feels really heavy, feels oppressive, and dark. Now, I had mentioned before about how I didn't like it in that video, and people were like, paint it, and I considered that, but I still feel like there's just a lot. And I like that I have, you know, this picture of my mom and my grandparents and other things, but I feel like a lot of this stuff is just here because I have the bookshelf. So I'm like, well, I guess I need to keep these books here, even though like I've read a lot of them. I'm never going to read them again. Like book I read every day, the Bible, that's there and that's fine. And I do like a lot of the decor, but I don't need a lot of it. And what's really wonderful about this is it does allow me to declutter the way that I want to, which I love. This light, the light is driving me crazy, because I want to be living the example that I'm trying to preach, which is having less stuff around you, less stuff to manage, less stuff to dust, and that feeling of being able to relax. This truly does not make me relax. So I'm going to start decluttering it, redistributing some stuff, and then you're going to see what I have done to make it look so much better. And I'm going to tell you the process that I took to decide and why it took me so long. So let's go.
So before I get started, let me show you, this is the bookshelf to the side. Take a note of what is there because not a lot of it is staying. Now, what I did was I use my mighty method, which is triage, simplify, and thrive. And then we break it down into the steps, and that's STEP. So for the triage section, state, trigger, effect, possibility. So what was the state? There were a lot of books. There was a lot of stuff. What is the trigger? All of the stuff on there. It was very busy and it was very dark. The effect, the busyness made it so I couldn't quite relax well. The darkness made the room darker for a north facing room. Not handy. And what is the possibility? That's the best part. How great will it be when it's done? It will be lighter. It will be more organized. So that's triage. Then we get to the second part, which is simplify. So we sort, we toss, donate, we establish a home, and then we make a plan for maintenance. And that's just what I did. I was sorting through the books. I donated a ton and didn't really toss any. I established a home for the things that were staying, and you'll see that in another section. And then I made my plan for maintenance, which I will talk about after. If you're interested in my mighty method, we're going to do this for our whole homes, our whole sections of our lives. We're triaging what's working, what's not working. We're simplifying, and then we're creating systems so we can thrive. Go to minimalisthome.ca/tidy to learn more about that, because it is going to change our lives and it's going to be a really fun group. And I'm just going to tell you, this big unit, what we did, we put it up on Facebook Marketplace. A lovely couple came. I like to sell things for just 10 to 25%, and it went just like that. So let's look at the after.
So once I did the initial big declutter of deciding like the books and things that could go, then it was time to find space in the rest of the house. And this is one of the biggest things that we need to recognize when we are decluttering. why we're doing the assessing, why we're doing the simplifying, and then systematizing things, because we need to be able to have a place to put things if we're keeping any of it. Now, I'm not saying you need to keep any of it. There are some things we wanted to keep. Now, of course, I mentioned this Lego. We were going to keep that. However, over here, I'm going to show you behind some of the stuff that I am dealing with, and most of it is going. For example, over here, I just have this little tray thing in the dining room of these jars. I like it, but it doesn't need to stay. So while I'm deciding what to do with the rest of the stuff, and there's not much of it, I might just say, I'm gonna let this go. This was my dad's camera. This is one of the few sentimental things that I talk about that could fit on the dining room table, right? This was also his. The Lego, that's my husband's. Like, I live in this house with other people, so I need to recognize that some of these things are theirs. This also was my dad's, this really cool old typewriter. Every child that comes into this house, young or old, teenagers, they love it. And that's my son's and that. Okay, so let me show you behind what I'm dealing with. So this is just a box. I've just been actually like putting garbage and stuff in there and then using it to throw out. This, I have like slowly whittled this down. This Lego, we're gonna sell that. We're going to sell this, or probably just donate it. I told the kids I'd sell it because it's theirs, so maybe I will. This, it looked good in the other room, but I don't need it. It's not sentimental. This was a gift to my husband. We're not sure who from. I think it was one of our moms, and it really, it was okay. I mean, it's actually got like solar light. Maybe it would be better in the garden, but this is probably something that's going to be decluttered. Some holiday candles, which, and when we decorate for the holidays, it's going to be a deal. And this was my son's. He wants to sell this, so we're going to sell that. Now this, which was on the little bookshelf, which we'll talk about in a minute in the other room, I think it's nice as far as like decor goes, but I don't need it out. And when we get to the other room, we're going to show you that I realized not everything needs to be out, which of course, like I already knew, but this is going to be in case of like emergency, if we need to like cook outside or something. You guys know I do a little bit of prepping because of like earthquakes and whatever. So I was like, we can put that anywhere in the house, just in case of an emergency. And other than that, I actually have managed most of the stuff. Now let's get to the living room. I show you the after of the wall, which I love. Let me just talk to you about this section here. So over here, what I wanted ultimately was just for it to be somewhat decluttered. Now, not everything here is going to stay, and we're still sort of like working out the finer details, but I really wanted to show this to you, especially because I'm going to be filming in the new space, and I didn't want to like spoil the surprise for anybody who's been following along. I do like how it looks when you have books as a little bit of decor, and these are books that I plan on keeping. I've got one of my versions of the Bible here. I have this new book I'm really interested in reading, Nutrivore, and then Outlive by Peter Attia, which is a great reference book. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep it. I like these little things. It's sort of like a sea vibe, and these are old floaters that they used to use for fishing. I'm not sure if it was just the Japanese. I'll show you the other one I have. And then I have, I mean, Lego is just a theme in our house, right? And then I have this shark, which I think is great. I also have my beautiful hammerhead shark, which my grandma gave me, and I was so confused when she got it for me, but I love it. It's just so fun. I wanted to put it over on the other thing, but I'll show you why I couldn't after. And then over here, we have this London Bridge, which is a Meccano set. Doesn't necessarily have to stay. So some of the things here, I'm not sure if they're going to stay. I might keep it. I mean, I love London, and one of my kids built it, so that's good. But that isn't necessarily a good reason to keep stuff. And then this, another Volkswagen thing. And this is another floaty. These are like really tough. And it's from when we lived in the Queen Charlotte's. Somebody, Haida Gwaii, somebody, he sort of like carved on it. And then it says Haida Gwaii. And I think it's great. And it really is a good sea theme since I live on Vancouver Island. So let's get to the other piece here, and then I'm going to explain how I decided what was going to stay and go. So this is the after, okay? And my husband was like, oh, we need a bigger TV now. And I was like, isn't that just a thing that a man would say? Now, the people who came to get the wall unit, the man who came, he agreed with my husband. I mean, I am actually going to put a picture here. This is the one I'm thinking of getting, or this one. And it's from a lovely local artist. I don't have that there, right? So it's looking a little bare. Also, that is the plant for my office, and that plant is, I'm going to swap it out with maybe a fig plant or something else. It has to be cat friendly, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then behind that, I'll have like some pictures, like kind of more simple pictures. I've got some black and white pictures, which I really like. Now here, I did have one of my jade plants, and I love this one plant, but I looked it up because I know my cat Plumpkin had chewed on this plant before, and these plants are, I'm a terrible plant mom, I'll tell you right now. But he had chewed on this one, so I was like, I should look and see if this is a poisonous plant. I should even see if this one is. This actually is just in the kitchen most of the time. I put it here for this video because I need another plant for here. And I don't like ones that are super frondy and stuff. I like a more like a cleaner kind of leaf for my plant. But for now, I'm very glad I didn't kill my cat. I just am loving the more minimal look though that we have here. It's just so much simpler and easier to handle. Like visually, it was just too much for me to look at before. I love having a little clock, like easy. We're going to, of course, like clean up these wires. And I think what I'm gonna do is cut a hole in the back of this, a small one, and then feed the wires through. And then there's like a spool of wire and stuff that can sit in there. That audio thing is going to go next to it. So it's going to look so much tidier. Now in here is where I placed a couple of things we're keeping. So in our old one, you know, there were things in the drawers. So here I have, this is the stand that came, one of the local potters in that Queen Charlotte's built this for the ball. And we're not using it right now. And I've got a few things like video games and stuff, some DVDs, this from when we went away. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is this would be where like the wires would sit. Super easy. Over here, we have, this is a cat toy. It looks like there's a mouse there. It's not. And just like this book, like I think it looks pretty good. Like from afar, it looks a lot better. The Lego of Ghostbusters, and this is a nice otter that my grandma, who tends to give sea animals to people. Now, I wanted to put the shark there. I thought it would look really cool with the sort of like metal look, but there is a kind of a like a wood thing here that just completely prevents it. So unless we like took the back off or something, we couldn't really get it in there. And I just thought, what's the point? Now, I was thinking, like when it came to the few books that I wanted to keep, like those 3 back there, which really like, I don't need any of them out, but I just thought that they worked. Now this actually, when I was reading my Bible yesterday morning, I did not put it back in its little case thing. But what I do is I have these books here that I am referencing every day. So I can come, grab my Bible in the morning and read it. Got a couple of pieces of kids' artwork trying to decide what to do with. We have some reusable candles. I mean, aren't they all battery operated? I mean, which I use at Christmas. And I kind of just like to have them in a more accessible location. I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep them. I think that they might be dead. So if they are, they'll go. And then cat toys. And then there's like a PlayStation and a DVD thing. So what's great is it's like, I like that it silently closes. I got this unit from Wayfair, which is wonderful. And it took me a while to decide what I wanted for that space, because I wanted something that was just going to be pretty like minimal and calm. You let me know. What do you think? Should we raise the TV up a little bit? Like once we have the picture here and a couple of pictures there, do you think it's okay there? It's also slightly not centered and we can't quite move it in enough to kind of compensate, or like, because there's studs that the mount is touching. But I think ultimately it is just such a better look. It doesn't make me feel like, oh, my mom said like, where are you gonna put all your Christmas stuff? And I was like, I don't know, maybe we won't put all of it out, which is great. I can get rid of more of it. I said maybe the floor, which, I mean, obviously I'm not gonna do it. I still have like this thing here, which will look good too. And I know like decluttering is very hard for some people to decide to actually like let go of some things. This video is going to be so helpful. It tells you exactly how to decide how to let go of some of those things. Stay tidy and mighty. I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.